I graduated from my school many years back. If I have to go back to my school, I would do it very differently. I would do it completely differently. Means the time I was not spending in the class and spending elsewhere, I would spend that with my classmates. Try to understand them better. Because the connections you're going to make out of this school or any school are there for you forever. And it helps in two things. When you make these connections and you professionally help each other, the alumnus network becomes very, very good. And when you say that you are from FIU, people look at you with a lot of pride. The school is as good as you are. Before you ask how good the school is, ask yourself how good you are. And that is something I never learned because we never had that professors like Anna and Andrea that who would bring people from outside and they share the experience. My experience may not be the best experience, but for me, it is my journey. And everyone's journey is very different. And every day the journey is very different. But then when you start your journey, you have to decide on two things. What is the purpose of your journey? Is your journey going to be for a limited period and score high grades in the school? Or your journey is a continuous process? Who are you competing with when you go out of these schools? Who's your competition? I'm asking a question. Say Daniela wants to be in real estate. When you start your business, who you think would be your nearest competitor?
Well, I will have a lot of competition.
And the nearest one?
Construction companies.
Okay. Your nearest competition is you yourself.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
The day you start competing with yourself is the day you are in a game of innovation, improvisation, all these words you have learned in the schools. The schools teaches you these things. They give you the foundation because you are competing with yourself. You don't need to compete. I give you an example. How many of you have heard of this word called Zoom? Not Z-O-O-M-E, Z-U-M-E. Anyone has heard of this word? Z-U-M-E.
Is that the MP3 player that used to exist? Microsoft?
Yes. Yes.
I've heard of it.
You have heard of it. So Microsoft, when it was launching this player, they were talking to somebody and they showed that player and that person was talking to the Apple executive. Okay. And the Apple executive said, excellent. He didn't even bother to look at it or to understand what it is. When we started our company, it didn't start with Labua. We started with the restaurant, which is a rooftop restaurant. The whole world knows we are the first rooftop restaurant of Thailand. No, we are the second. And everyone told me to visit that rooftop restaurant. And I refused to visit. Can anyone tell me, social media, marketing, advertising, why I refuse to visit that restaurant?
Is it because you didn't want to be influenced by it?
Yes, excellent. Very, very, very good answer. Yes. I didn't want it to be influenced. I didn't want to limit my thinking. And I was competing with myself. I had a dream. It didn't matter so it never matters in life who's better than you. What matters in life is who stays longer there. There'll be many people, many days better than you. Trust me. But the most important thing is who stays longer in this game is going to decide the winner. Many schools, I'm not talking about FIU, please. So pardon my saying, some of you may have topped the class and they may stay continuous. They may not stay continuous. But why the campus is very important is for one matter that once you become friends, you start helping each other. That's the most important thing the world needs from all of you. I don't know what age bracket you are. I'm told that in US you can't ask anyone's age. So I'm not asking that age or anything like that. But just to tell you, we are talking about Gen Z. And some of the conversation is getting recorded. So I don't want to fall in any legal this thing. That was a joke. So Gen Z in 2030 is going to have $33 trillion of income. That is, in today's time, quarter of world's income. Millennials in 2030 are going to inherit $68 trillion of wealth from the baby boomers. You guys are the future. You're not the future because Anna has given me the platform to speak to you. You're the future because figure speaks for itself. And also when I'm saying that, there are two kinds of forecasters in the world. It's not my statement, it's one of the world very well-known economists has said that. You know who are the two kinds of forecasters? I'm the second type. I'm the type 2. The type 1 is people who forecast, they don't know. Second, type 2 is people who forecast, they don't know, and they don't know that they don't know. I have no idea that I don't know. So I like to speak to all of you that this is going to happen. So when I'm saying that this is the future, take it with a pinch of salt. Because we have seen in last 1.5 years, the future is changing on a daily basis and hourly basis. And that's what the reality of life is. And why the reality of life is because we can see this. Nothing has changed in the world. The future has always been changing. But with the social media, with the whole world, we're trying to travel the world. We are trying to achieve all these kind of things. So we think that the future is not changing. The world is not changing. All forecasts that have been done are correct. History, the exact translation of history is it was. Meaning it has happened in the past. There's a word in Sanskrit and then later on became a Urdu and Hindi word. Sanskrit is a Aryan-based language, so German derivative is also Aryan. And so is Thai language. Just to give you an idea, there's a word called itihas. The meaning of itihas, if you ask 99% Indians, they'll say it is history, synonym. But you know what is the meaning of itihas? Itihas is it was, it is, it will be. You can write this down. We'll come to this later when we start a little bit more structure. So right now, what I'm trying to tell you is that what you do today is very important, how and what you will do in the future. FIU has given you the fertile soil to flourish, to bloom. Now, how you take care of yourself as plants, it all depends how you trend your journey and how you take your journey. A journey for me, if you ask me, my journey is not over yet. It is a continuous process. I was told by Ale or Ellen, I forgot, I'm old, 53. I can tell my age in Asia. So I was told that I'm innovative. No, we are not innovative. Innovation is not a right word. The word that you all have to remember is improvisation. Innovation will not lead you anywhere. Improvisation will lead you always everywhere. You innovate today, somebody else will innovate tomorrow. You improvise today, it will take time for them. And you say, I'm just talking like this. Apple is actually an improvisation of Nokia. Apple was never innovation. It was an improvisation. How you look at things, the clarity of the mind is very important. And the clarity of mind will come when you know the purpose. This is one of the slides, so I'm cheating, so I'm sharing what it is written in the slide. And it is a very common saying by Mark Twain. There are 2 important days in everyone's life. Have you heard this saying from Mark Twain? The day you are born and the day you know why you're born. I'm also writing a book. It's called A Bridge Not Too Far. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Hollywood is going to do a movie on that. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But the point is, A Bridge Not Too Far, the book that I'm writing, look at the title, A Bridge Not Too Far. It clearly states that the journey is not over yet, even for me. Because every time the world presents you with an improvisation, sometimes over a 5 years period, sometimes over a 1 hour period, is for you to see. And how do you see these things? You see these things with the clarity of mind. If you focus on innovation, there are a lot of people who will do innovation. They are designed from day 1 to do innovation. Can we do a innovation when we write 2 plus 2 is 4? Can we innovate and try to make it 5? But we can improvise that. We can say 5 minus 1 is 4. We can't innovate a lot of things. So the structure is, when we get into these schools, the focus has to be on improvisation. This is me saying, who's not your professor. But I'm saying it from the lifetime examples. And why the focus has to be on improvisation and not innovation, I give you certain things, what has happened in history. Have you heard of this brand called Blockbuster? So there was a board meeting. So whatever I'm telling you is on the public space. It's nothing from the books behind. Maybe some of this is from the books behind, but most of it is in a public place, Google. So Blockbuster was having a board meeting, and the CEO of Blockbuster told that Netflix is starting a subscription model. And they were a transactional model. He was asking the board to go on a subscription. And the board looked at the financials and said 15% of the income of Blockbuster is coming from late fees. In subscription, there's no late fees. So they said, no, we are not going subscription model. We'll stay with the transaction model. Now, today, present, we know where Blockbuster is and where Netflix is. And there are many examples. After this, I'm going to take you, I'll start, normally in schools, I don't start with my journey from the beginning, but I will make an exception here so that you understand. I've given you a few points, so you understand the why of my journey. My journey is not how I did that journey. My journey started with why. So I'll go a little bit in background, story time. You can ask questions. You can correlate to that. It may help you also to understand different culture, because many of you may not have gone outside US. But sometimes it is important. But it doesn't matter if you have not gone outside US, because today the world is on our fingertips. Open the phone, open the computer. We know what is happening everywhere. So I was born. So I'll start. But before I start, maybe Anna, we can show the first clip, the video only. I want you to see this video.
Don't do the right thing. God knows you'll be tempted. The right thing sounds so good in meetings. It looks fantastic in charts. The right thing soothes racing pulses and settles churning stomachs. Everybody can get on board with the right thing. The right thing is good enough. But good enough is not enough. Don't do it. Don't do the right thing. Avoid it like the plague. So what are you supposed to do? The wrong thing? Of course not. Do the brave thing. The thing that troubles your sleep. The thing with a million unknowns. That seems ridiculous one moment and genius the next. That's the thing you should do. Chase it down. Don't let it go. Do the thing that disrupts, that upends, that doesn't just defy the status quo but reshapes it forever. You can do that. You have that in you. To do the right thing or not is a choice. To disrupt or not is a choice. Let's do the brave thing. Don't do the
So this is, you have seen the video. So it's very important that we should always do the brave thing, because right thing will take you, and we'll touch that later. Right thing is going to take you to maybe the next stop only, or not even to the next stop. There's a queue for people doing the right thing, and that queue is a little bit longer, actually very long. If you keep on doing the right thing, and if you keep on coming to the classroom and don't mingle with your friends, that's a brave thing. Get to know them, get to spend time with them, be brave enough to ask them for their help, keep connecting with them, share your problems with them, always make a circle of influence. If you do these things early in stage, circle of influence is very important. Why? Because for me, it has taken me a lot of years to reach where I have reached. And still I have not reached where I wanted to reach. Because in my beginning, I didn't get that pole position. When you do the car racing, the pole position, what you all have. I didn't get the professors like Anna and Andre. I didn't get the institution like FIE. I was staying in a country which was an emerging economy, was coming up. So there's my story. When I was 4 years old, so we grew up in a humble family. We had only one room, and the division of the rooms were by curtains. So there were curtains, and that is how the room 1, room 2, room 3 would look like. And on the same row, all houses were like this. But there was a small road. And across the road, there were big homes. And we were always told by our parents, don't cross the road. And I would ask that why we don't have to cross the road, why we should not cross the road. The whole topic was that if you cross the road, they disrespect you, you'll get hurt. Well, I did the brave thing. I did cross the road. I made friends with one elderly gentleman. I call him uncle. And his son was in London. He came and he showed me the pound note. That was the first time I had seen a foreign currency, 4-year-old. And my innocent question to him was, this pound note, how much is that in Indian rupees? And he said, this much. I said, wow, this many rupees in one note. And I would go back to my side of the row and tell everybody that I saw one note, which is this many rupees. It was very exciting for me. It took me 6 months and a courage to tell that uncle that, can I see the house? That was the first time I saw the rooms with attached bath. And I was so impressed. At the age of 4.5, I didn't even know that something like that exists. So my mind started becoming curious. I said, why they stay like this and why we stay like this? And I talked to my father that, why can't you have a house like that? And then father said, oh, I have struggled, I have done that. I said, I agree you have struggled, but we are still struggling. So then he told me a theory of relativity. I understood that everything in this world is relative. You can never be rich and you can never be poor. But the most important thing is you should always be happy, because there would be someone richer than you. There would always be someone powerful than you. There would always be someone not as privileged as you. A comparison are taught how to do comparisons, SWOT analysis to all of us in the schools. But when you go into the real world, it's very different than what is taught in the classrooms. Don't do comparisons. Look at yourself. It's your journey. But your journey will only be successful if you know why you're doing this journey. I started my journey because that word at the age of 4 struck me, that don't cross the road because they will not respect you. So my beginning of journey, though they respected me, is for self-respect. My beginning of journey was not to become rich, or even today. My quest for excellence is coming out of self-respect. All these things that has been created and all those failures that I've faced in life, there's only the only why, that answer is self-respect. But you know, I'm talking to all of you. You have to promise me you'll buy my book, because half the book I'm telling you today. So don't say that we know it all. Okay? So that is where I began. Then I went with my father, and his, the shirt, the collar had torn, and he wanted to buy a new shirt. It was costing, say, 50 cents, less than 50 cents in India. And I saw a nice toy milk van, and I wanted to buy that. And my father bought me that milk van instead of buying his own shirt. I'm not trying to make you cry. I'm just trying to tell you that when you see a person, there is a story behind every person. And the intelligent, the smart person is who's able to understand what is the story and what is the purpose. Then I went to the school, started making friends, didn't study. I'm doing a little bit fast forward, didn't study well in the school. I was the youngest in the family. I'm the youngest, actually. And people would, the most important thing is, I was going to Hindi medium schools. Of course, English was taught. But for me, English was an impossible language. I would always barely pass my exams in English. Anyway, passed the school, everything. I got selected into the hotel management course, went to the hotel management. So my hotel management school was in southern part of India. Southern part of India, India is a huge country. There are a lot of languages people speak, spoken. They will speak a local dialect or English. And my English was an area of opportunity. And I was always called by my seniors, and they will always strike a conversation. The reason was not to talk to me. I was their entertainer. This happens in school. We all do that. So I was their entertainer. And they will laugh and everything. And so again, what happened? It hurt me. Suddenly, the awakening came. And I said, you know what? One day, I'm going to do wonders. You watch out. But I didn't tell them. I made them happy. I continue my journey. And then I got my first job. And this is the interesting part. So first job I got in between I was a dishwasher also, but we will come to that later. So like I said, it's not structured, so I'm telling you. I got my first job. I was doing training. Like you all must have gone to the hotel. So you enter the reception, you will see people. So I was a trainee there. And one guy always come out of the lift and every senior executives would run after him. So I asked the person who I was training under that, who this guy is? He says he's the CEO of the hotel company. So I said, wow. And I said, why all these people run after him? They said they want to be seen. So I said, he will come one day to me and he will hire. And you know what happened after that? Everybody laughed. They just couldn't help themselves. So the second thing is one should dream also. If you don't dream, you cannot achieve your goals. If anyone is telling you you can never achieve your dreams, you will work much more harder because you are about to achieve your dreams. It so happened that gentleman came to me after 6 months. And he says, how many years of training you have? I said, I have only 1 year left. He said, fine, I'll make you permanent. You skip your 1 year of training and you become my executive assistant. That organization has been there since 1951. And in the history of the organization, I was the youngest executive assistant to the chief executive. The youngest. I had no idea about politics. I had no idea how corporate moves, what happens, but I dreamt. We can call it lucky. There's nothing called lucky. We all believe in God. Some of us in this modern world don't believe in God also, but that's fine. That's a choice. There's one thing which is more important than God. It's the time. I'm no one to preach you or tell you who to respect, but my sincere request to all of you would be always respect the time, because that is never going to come back. And I have not seen anything more powerful in life than time. So I'm not going to give you pointers. So you choose whatever you think is appropriate for you. I joined. Suddenly what happened is I learned a lot. Every senior executive would come after me. I will get, sorry, I'm having my coffee. It's early morning for me. So everybody would come to me, offer me tea, offer me coffee. I was like suddenly a very important person at such a young age. And then suddenly the CEO resigned. And he left the country. Okay. Now, I told you already that my journey has been wide. So I started dating at that point of time when I was the chief executive assistant. I started dating one of the organization vice president's daughter. And then after the CEO resigned, I stayed for 1 year. Things were very difficult. I went to work in other state. Then I said, okay, why don't I go to her and propose? We spoke. She said, come to my house. India, at that point of time, the economy was starting to come. I went on my two-wheeler Vespa to the house and I sat down. Father was staying in a hotel. She was staying in a hotel. The butler comes with a trolley, lot of drinks. I've not seen that. He said, oh, you're sweating. Your car don't have air condition. The father asked. I said, no, I came in a Vespa. He said, will you have a drink? I said, I'll have water. So the first question he asked is, what car you're driving? So I said, I don't have a car. I have a two-wheeler. So my daughter has been driving this car. She has been born and brought up in the hotel. She has a air condition. The third question was, how many air condition you have in your house? I said, none. I don't have air condition. I said, you have a refrigerator at the house? I said, no. At that point of time. So then he said, okay, fine, but my daughter loves you. You love the daughter. I want both of you to get married. But why don't you speak to your ex-boss who's in Singapore and ask him to give you a job because he loves you a lot? And then I'll get my daughter married to you. And I said, no. Because that was again a self-respect. If for my self-respect, I have to ask my boss and find a job just to get married, I will never be able to face life again. And I walked away. So when you choose a path, there are a lot of obstacles will also come. And we are going to touch that slide, and you will come, most of the time you will come to only two selections, principle or rule. And I'm no one to tell you which one is better at that point of time. Sometimes rules is better, sometimes principle is better. And that's the choice you have to take. And why you will be certain that you're taking a right choice? Because your foundation is strong. You are the graduates of FIU. You have your friends. You have done your experience. You have seen the world. So these experiences, this time will help you. And that's why I said the time is very important. Will help you choose between principle and rule. We will touch that also. Maybe, Anna, if you don't mind, can we show them the principle and slide? And then I can explain it to them. That slide we have. Let us finish it also at the same time. I got only 90 minutes with you. So we are almost 30 minutes. It's the next slide.
Next one.
It is next. No, next. Yeah, this one. Sorry, previous slide, please.
This one?
Yeah. So as you see, there's a principle and there's a rule. Now, how do you differentiate what is principle and what is rule? You see these two quadrants in red I have made? Can it be seen by all of you? Yeah. In an early stage organization, the principle and rules are very high. And when the organization become a later stage, more emphasis are done on the rules. During COVID, the basic rule is there's no business. The companies are not doing great revenue, great profits, things like that. The rule is let's save cost. And how to save cost? Get the people out. We have huge, means in terms of the salaries of the people, we have lost in 2020. 2021 would be a bigger disaster. We have lost 4.4% of 2019 worldwide GDP. But at Labua, our principle has been that these are the people who help us reach this area. My personal journey is a journey of respect. There is a respect for people, not a word done by a PR company, done by agency, or done by a marketing people. It was a true feeling. In 3 different countries, we didn't let anyone go. But that was based on principle. We followed the principle at that point of time, and we bent the rule. The principle was upheld. Rules were broken. So this is the difference between a principle and rule in life. We can let it go. Thanks. Thank you, Anna. So this is the difference between principle and rule. Then in Singapore, suddenly, I did go to Singapore. Then I went to Bangkok, and then came back to Singapore again. And suddenly I became very rich. Started the business. Young guy, 28 or 27-year-old, driving convertible cars in Singapore. I had a big house with a swimming pool in Singapore, with a pool, my own pool. Became arrogant. Didn't respect the time, didn't respect the people, the success hit. What you can expect from a guy who's rich, who has got the money, and has got arrogance in the head. The first two things are good. The arrogance. I started spending my time where I should not be spending my time. And I lost everything. And I lost everything. And then I said, I have to start. I went back to India. There was a period of 3 months I couldn't find a job. Nobody would hire. Either I was overqualified or I was not qualified. So I was just not getting the right fit. Not a big thing in India to find a job. But that was the time the SARS had come and everything. 3 months went, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. And then my father said, oh, why don't we sell this small house of ours and flat and then move to some other place and you open your own small restaurant, not even cafe. That time, not many people knew about cafe. And that time in India, there was no Starbucks. In Singapore, I would be having my cappuccino, non-fat, all those kind of things. And here in India, that time, the cappuccino was made in a different way and espresso was very different. The olden times. In India, that time, the espresso used to come with the milk. My first cultural shock was when I went and ordered espresso, it came in a small cup and all black. And I said, I asked for espresso. He said, yes, this is espresso. My second shock was when I went first time to Singapore, 7-Eleven. I never had seen a store like that. And I remember still, it took me some time to call it 7-Eleven. I used to call it 7-Eleven and everyone would laugh. Just to let you know what you're seeing, and everything will fall in the context when we come where we are. So 7-Eleven became a luxury for me. One shop, air conditioned, you enter, buy things. Oh my God, I can buy the soap, I can buy the toothbrush, toothpaste, I can have a drink there. And then that time, and there are different kind of drinks in cans. No one can beat US when it comes to junk food, but then also that place was very good. Anyway, so came back to India. I got a job with the cruise line. And I was first Indian to get a job in a cruise line as a hotel manager. I joined the cruise. That was a regional cruise. I went on and that was their first mega ship. So I went on a cruise. What I saw as working as a hotel manager, not as a guest, I said, this is not the life I want. I've lived that life in Singapore. And no job in hand. And money was very good. You know, money in cruise lines are very good. I left the cruise, came back, started looking for a job, got the job. Then I realized in my life is what was missing was a stability. And that's where I met my present partner. We had a wonderful courtship, married her, came for honeymoon to Bangkok, Phuket. And Bangkok was not in the itinerary. And then she said, oh, why are you not taking me to Bangkok? I want to do the shopping. Came to Bangkok. She fell in love. She fell in love with Bangkok. I was in love with her. And we stayed back. Now, the journey starts about everything that I've done to put those pieces in the proper squares. So I spend money on my clothes. because I still have that thing in my mind that I didn't let my father buy the shirt, but I bought the toy. When I was growing up, I used to play football. Like, we had flats and there was a garden in front, because we shifted from that place where the road is. You know, as you graduate, so father got transferred, you went to the new place. There was a small garden, and I was the only one I remember playing bare feet, and everybody was wearing shoes. And there was a guy who had cars, and he would go to drink a juice. So I said, I'll come with you. He said, first you go wash your feet. My car would get dirty. So that thing stuck in my mind. I said, I'm going to buy a car that not many people can buy. So I got into car racing. I have good collection of cars. I spend money on clothes. I found the time. At one point of time, I was a loser. I won't say I'm a winner. I'm in the race again. I'm not a winner yet, but I'm in the race again. But I've got everything right. And why everything I have got it right is I understood few things in life. I understood nothing more important than self-respect. I understood nothing more powerful than time. I understood that innovation will take time. Improvisation is the key. I understood there's nothing called right decision or wrong decision. You need to take a decision and work hard to make it right. A lot of us, we spend a lot of time on thinking whether it is a right decision or a wrong. There's nothing right or nothing wrong. We make it right or we make it wrong. And these are the four things. We put it in the perspective and became last year the only hotel in the world to have two 2-star restaurants, which is not a big thing. There are many hotels which has 4 3-star restaurants, but also the best Michelin service award that no hotel in the world has. We became the only hotel where a whiskey brand like Shiva's created a whiskey for us. There have been many hotels before us. They never created a whiskey for them, but they created a special blend. Normally, Shiva's create blends for countries. And all these things, you're all listening, which is, I'm very humbled and thankful to all of you. But all these things were natural when I got these 4 things put together. It was a natural progression. There was not even a single innovation done. Everything about Labua is improvisation. Now we can start with the presentation. And thank you so much. We can start with the presentation. Thank you. Yeah, we start with the next one. Yeah, luxury is in each detail. I would like to ask the class, what is our definition of luxury?
I would say high standards.
Okay. I want everyone to answer, please.
I'd say sophisticated.
Sorry?
I would say luxury for me is sophisticated.
Sophisticated. Okay, so can I write it down what you're saying? Am I allowed to write it down? You're recording, I can write, right? So high standard, sophistication. Please, there are many other students.
I would say luxury is quality as well.
Luxury is quality. Okay. Okay, 1, 2. I'm not writing names. So high standard, sophistication, quality. Any more?
I would say luxury is also the finest materials.
Finest materials. Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, I would say uniqueness.
Sorry? Uniqueness.
You guys, can you guys hear us?
Sorry, I can't hear.
You guys hear us?
Nancy, I think you have two devices open, right? Because we can hear the echo. If you can mute one of your devices, because I think you have the class on the phone and also through the computer in the class. Yeah, but go ahead, go ahead. We want to hear from your students. Nancy? Nancy?
Can you hear it now?
Yes, fantastic. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I had two of them on, right, so that I could watch it while I was talking to you. Exclusive is what one of the students said.
Exclusive.
What else, guys? Tailored approach.
Okay. Sorry, I missed that. What did you say?
Tailored approach.
Okay.
Extravagance.
Okay.
Valuable.
Valuable.
The professor says happiness.
Happiness. Okay. Okay, all these words are right. Like I said, there's nothing right, there's nothing wrong. But there's also a definition of luxury. A finer definition. Luxury is never about the price. So I give you an example in India, and all your answers are perfectly right, but I'm adding one. And some of you are very close to it, or maybe you used one word, so you're perfectly right. In India, there's a company called Colgate-Palmolive. Have you heard of them? Colgate. Have you heard of Colgate? Hello?
The toothpaste?
Colgate, the toothpaste company.
Colgate. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
So they started 10-cent sachet in rural area of India. And more than 70% of the profit came from that. They made money. Point number two is people who were using it had never used a toothpaste in their life. It became a luxury for them. So it was not something like Rolls Royce or car. So luxury is something which is very difficult to replicate. Now I'm going to ask a second question. This one is confidential, okay? I'm working on a new concept of hospitality, okay? And I have named this concept called Fibration. F-U-B-R-A-T-I-O-N. Let me put it. Fibration. Now the fibration comes from two words. Fun. Second is celebration. Now I'm going to ask the class, try defining me what is the difference between fun and celebration. As per you. Like I said, there's nothing right, there's nothing wrong. So as per your individual, what is the difference between fun and what is the difference between celebration? And give me an example how you differentiate between fun and celebration.
So for me, this is Joanna. Fun is something I enjoy, and it gives me a feeling of happiness. And celebration is happy, but because of a reason.
Sorry, celebration is?
It's when you're happy, but because it's for a reason.
Okay. Very good. Anyone else? Thank you very much, Joanna.
Yeah, I would
Anyone
like to
else, please?
I would like to add to what Joanna said. Celebration is about being proud of something.
Okay. And what is fun?
Just spend the time with no reason.
Now, there's a lady who is doing the design and the architect, right? In the class?
Yes, that's me, Joanna.
That's you. Okay. Now you have defined fun and celebration, and she has also defined fun and celebration. If you have to put a design element to it, what will you design for fun and what will you design for celebration?
That's a great question. For fun,
And I'm going to ask this from real estate perspective also, and from PR perspective also, and social media. In words you have expressed, in design, how would you define this without words?
I personally, I would use probably wavy, flowy, outside pool area amenity spaces where you're enjoying the space and friends and people coming together. So areas of
For fun.
for fun.
And for celebration?
Places that you can gather over a communal table and drink and eat and celebrate.
Anna, what the hell I'm doing here in this class? Can I be your student? They are so bright, all of them. You got it right. That's not fair. How you know how to answer? I'm just joking. Very good. Excellent. I think this is very, very good answer. So I will add celebration one more thing. Fun is fun. Celebration is a memory. Something you remember forever. Now, next question I'm going to ask. Sorry, I'm asking too many questions, am I? But both of you cannot answer. So there has to be some more people to answer, right? Tell me a difference between fashion and luxury.
Nancy, anybody from your class?
Can I speak?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Daniela.
I would say luxury is something that represents yourself.
Okay. Actually, fashion also represents yourself. Otherwise, why would you wear a fashionable clothes?
Yeah, but it's like any brand. Instead of luxury, like it's a specific brand.
So let's go in brands. What is luxury for you in a brand name and fashion for you in a brand name?
I'm going to put this example. For example, a Toyota Corolla is something that you use, or a Bentley is something that you wear. Like you want to feel good in the Bentley, for example. And a Corolla is a car that you use for your just go to work.
So what is fashion and what is luxury?
Fashion is just follow the crowd. And luxury,
luxury.
Standing out.
And what is luxury?
Standing out from the crowd.
Okay, standing out of the crowd. Actually, very good answer. Excellent answer. But I want to get a little bit more in detail. So let's go brands. What brand is a fashion for you? You're comfortable with what kind of brands? Cars, women wear, cosmetics, whatever you can choose.
I'm not a brand person. I don't care about it.
That's good. But in case, I'm not saying you're a consumer, but of course you're in marketing or real estate. So how would you describe fashion and luxury?
To be honest, it's a really hard concept. Fashion is just you doesn't like you don't care about the brand. You don't care like anything. Just you want to have what everybody else have.
Okay, let me help you here, all of you. Fashion is limited time. It happens, it goes, and luxury stays forever. And now that we are getting into the luxury, so I have to talk about that. The paradox of luxury is the more exclusive it is, the more people buy. And when the more people buy, it becomes less exclusive. So a simulation to the class is, how will you make sure the product is exclusive? At the same time, it remains exclusive. And you're selling off. How you do that? There are many examples. Birkin is one example. Okay. Glendewagen from Mercedes is another example. Rolls-Royce is another example. So how come these people are able to sustain this luxury? The question I'm asking.
Okay, and this is Joanna. So the question you're asking, is it for, are you talking about the brand itself or are you talking about the customers?
I'm talking about the customers. Why customers? For customers, a very good question you asked. These things are still luxury for them, though it has gone in the market. So how do brands manage that?
So I'm going to use Mercedes as an example.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Mercedes 20 years ago was so exclusive and it had a high brand. And today you could get the Mercedes names, but you get an E-class or a low, different classes where it's not the top, but you still have the recognition of experiencing the brand, even though it's at a different class level.
But Mercedes is not as exclusive or luxurious as me because I got the FIU class. Okay, anyway, so the point is, I'll answer this in a while, but we'll move to the next slide.
Can I just say what I think what brands do to make it luxury? I think is that you have to make your brand limited as instead of making it mass produced. So if you make it more limited, it's only limited to a small amount of people, and that builds the luxuriousness of it.
Very good answer, Ellen. But then how do you make money out of it?
Well, it's limited, so the people will be fighting for it. So the demand is going to increase for it, so the price increases with it as well.
Yeah, means you can charge higher, but still it is limited, right? So how do you make money out of it? So what would be your business model?
You would charge higher prices for it.
Yeah, but then I'm charging higher prices, but limited production. So I'm charging limited higher prices, right? Means my higher prices, higher profit is coming in a limited manner to me. So if I have to make more money, how do I make money? And if you're selling only, okay, so I tell you how. See, we started with the emotional journey of me. First, I started with certain advice, then emotional journey. Then we came a little bit of luxury. Now we're coming to a little bit of business. If it was Birkin, nobody would know Hermes. Only a handful of people would know. The reason Birkin is so successful is because Hermes is still selling things at 100 euros. 100 euros or 200 euros, though Birkin goes to 10,000 euros. So what you do is you create a product category which is very exclusive, talk about it, but then you accessorize it down the line. That you make your volume out of that. It's like an aircraft. An aircraft has got an economy class, has got a business class, and has a first class. But your first class has to be so good that the whole world talks about it. And people who wants to travel economy travels in the same aircraft and say, you know what? I also flew that airline. So Singapore Airlines, I'm going to give an example. Singapore Airlines was the second airline flying non-stop to New York. But if you ask anybody, 90% of the world says, oh, Singapore Airline was the first airline. You know which one was the first airline? Emirates. We were the second rooftop restaurant in Bangkok. You ask anybody, they said we are the pioneer and we innovated the rooftop concept. Because we are still in the play. We took the level of making money to a different level. Luxury is one thing, which is very theoretical. We got it. The second most important part is how do we go out in the market and make people spend the money?
I think, if I may, a good example of this is Tesla. So when Tesla first came out with the electric car, it was very expensive to produce electric cars. And at the time, all of the electric cars were not affordable for the masses. So Tesla first started with a product that maybe was tailored for higher earners. And now Tesla has come out with a more affordable option. And has shown that you can produce electric cars that are less expensive and at the same price as petrol cars. So I think in that sense, Tesla has remained exclusive in the fact that they are the first ones to be the electric car, and they've added to their consumers while still staying luxurious with that motive.
I think a very good example, but I'll add, may I add a little bit to that, please?
Of course.
Yeah, thank you. Tesla, when they started the car, and many people followed Tesla. Tesla and Red Bull are classic examples of marketing by not marketing. It's a case study. Means look at the power of Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola, but they still can't beat Red Bull when it comes to energy drinks. Look at the power of in electric vehicles, Mercedes, BMW, Audi, but they just cannot beat Tesla. One small thing Tesla has said. You know, this in life, we always are looking for bigger things, but the difference is made. You know, in IT, in everything in business, we say the last mile. That one small thing differentiate success and failure. Tesla motto was, let the car drive. Their steering wheels are small, if you notice, as compared to Audi or Mercedes. And they say, we allow our car to drive. And the second part is, in a business, a luxury always lies in a product. It is in detail. We can move to the next slide and we'll come to this topic a little later. Now, this is the first restaurant we create. Now, no innovation. The whole idea came, first of all, no interior designer out of US, Hong Kong, Bangkok, and Australia wanted to design this place. And we did focus group with Gallup. Gallup Poll was the company that was hired. We did 5 focus group, qualitative analysis. And all the 5 focus group, different nationalities said, this place has no view. Can you tell me why they said that? You are looking at the view. Everybody told this place has no view. I'm going to tell you something very interesting right now. Now the question is why this place has no view. Or why they said this has a great view. Anyone?
So I'll talk for a second. So I've actually been here before.
Oh, you've been here before?
Yeah, I visited your hotel many years ago, like maybe 6 years ago when I was in Bangkok, and I had a drink on top. and it was so beautiful. But I can tell you, at least, I don't know, from that experience, so maybe this is not good because I was there, but I think that you can't really fully understand how beautiful it is unless you're actually there. Because
okay, thank you for that. But why did the 6 focus group who came onto the site and said this place has no view?
Maybe the location, because it wasn't tall enough. I don't know.
So view is still there. It means we can see that. That's the photograph. So if you notice this, I don't know how, so let me put it. You notice these things? You notice this, where I put the red marks? Can you see that?
Yes.
The red circle? This is the limit of the building. We raise the floor. There's a huge amount of steel that has gone there to raise the floor. And nobody could visualize that because these are balustrades. So when you stand on the ground level, you can't see anything. You can't see this view that we can see. So when you raise the floor, you can actually enjoy the view. And we put the garden, and you can't cross this because it is like a ditch. So that way there's a distance and there's a lot of safety, international safety level that has been taken into account. So while designing, the lesson we learned is when you're designing a new product, never go and ask the customer, what do you think about this? Because customers, they are like a baby. And we, like parents, have to understand when they need milk or when they need water. So that was the whole purpose to show this slide. Anna, may I have the second slide, please? Have a look at this place. This is the wine cellar, which is talked about, the champagne cellar, which is 2-level. Everybody, some of the magazines wrote a great innovation. And there's you can see the ladder also where people can go up, get the champagne. This was no innovation. I went to buy my Louboutin shoes at Soho. They had 2 levels of storage, and the guy used the ladder. I took the photograph and copied it. And just improvised it with nice lighting and the bottles. Third slide, please. Now, this is a restaurant, which is a normal restaurant. There's a lot of innovation in terms of innovation. So I'm coming to that. It's not always improvisation. It is an improvisation and innovation in combination. This exhaust, what you see, is the first in the world, done by a company along with the MIT lab. What it does is it takes the food, clean the air, and throw it out to the restaurant as a fresh air. So when we knew that we can get that exhaust, we call it a restaurant in the kitchen. So the marketing came, that's the public relation and the marketing. Everybody says kitchen in the restaurant. It's the same thing, kitchen in the restaurant or restaurant in the kitchen. But we became the first hotel to have a restaurant in the kitchen. There are many where they have kitchen in the restaurant. So how do we market ourselves? So we said, oh, this is what we are. May we have the next one, please? The slide, yeah. Everything requires money. The previous restaurant you saw is a 2 Michelin star. Even this one is 2 Michelin star. The cost of these restaurants are cheaper than some of the top hotel suites bathroom. Not even the top suite, the bathrooms. I'm not saying the bathrooms should be good or not good, but from marketing point of view, from product point of view, if you want to create a luxury, Don't go for image, go for the product. And product, the clarity is, why do people come into the restaurant? The product is not the restaurant design. The product is the people who are serving you and the food you're eating. And the experience. Now, if you notice, we have these tall glasses here. We had limited money either to do a feature wall, which is not shown here. Everyone praises about this. And this restaurant has been 14 years old. Feature wall or buy these glasses. So we made a feature wall made of cardboard and spray paint in a fine dining restaurant. But we spend money on the glasses because this is the product people will look. Feature wall was the image. This glass here is a product. This is the difference I want to teach all of you. The words we learn in the school has a lot of value, each word. And if we have the clarity, and when we go to do the business, we can do wonders. We learn two words, product and image. How we translate that into the reality is in front of. We spend less money on image, more money on product, and we are successful. So, going to a class, go to the class to understand the basics, what your professors are telling you, the foundation, because that is what is going to help you when you do business and when you're competing with yourself to create a final product each time you create something new. Next slide, please. Like I said, we have a policy of product and not image. So you can see that. And how did we translate that? You go to most of the hotels and you book a big suite. They'll give you a bottle of champagne. That champagne will have the name of the hotel, but that will be the cheapest champagne they'll be serving. So we said we have a policy of product, not image. Anything that will have Labua name will be more expensive than the product name. So next slide, please. And we go to the video. Watch this video, that how much pain we have taken. There'll be 3 videos in series which will show you how much pain we have taken to create the whiskey, selection of champagnes, and creating our own absolute. There are 2 absolutes in the world, one for Labua and one for the rest of the world. Please watch. Thank you.
There's a Gallic expression, what's rare is wonderful. The finest scotch and the finest hotels must excite you, must reward you for having succeeded. Customers, they love the luxury. They love this luxury scotch and they need a place where they can sit and enjoy.
Labua and Chivas Regal had a special partnership for many years. Chivas Regal as a global iconic whiskey and Labua as an internationally acclaimed global hotel group. This year we're embarking on a special new project, the creation of your new whiskey bar, Al Fresco 64, at Labua in Bangkok.
On 8th of March, we are so excited. We're opening the world's highest outdoor whiskey bar by Chivas Regal. It will stretch the boundaries of what a bar can be, with the unrivaled selections of whiskies. And to mark this occasion, Chivas Regal is creating a special blend for Al Fresco 64 at Labua. So here we are at Strath Island, the home of Chivas Regal, to try this special Labua blend for the very first time.
So good afternoon, gentlemen. For Chivas Regal and Labua, this is a most exciting moment. The real way to discover whiskey is to taste it. A unique bottling of some of our oldest and rarest whiskies that were distilled in 1985 or earlier and individually hand-selected for this special blend. It's beautiful to look at. Special story, special label, Chivas Regal. This luxury blend has been finished in a top-quality first-fill sherry cask a luxurious dark chocolate sweetness, licorice, and sweet toffee apples.
The blend will only be available in one place, the Whiskey Bar at La Boa, Alfresco 64.
We'll have the next video after that. That's the champagne selections.
I am here 300 miles out of Paris in search of great champagnes for Le Bois Hotel. The idea is to bring the best and boutique champagnes to our customers. A champagne which has got the character, a champagne which has the body, and the champagne which has got the flair. But I don't do this alone. Great champagne. I feel like kissing it. This is, oh, I'm in love. Such a nice harvest this year. Champagne area is producing something maybe to welcome Le Bois. Cheers. The best quality grapes are going in these boutique culture, their heritage and their production.
I tell you what.
This is all hand done, no machine. You know, when I look at this, I think about 2 or 3 things. Rare, exclusive, high quality. Getting excited and having and sharing this
Warm welcome at Champagne de Talmont in Damery.
And why we call it Talmont?
Well, that's the brand name of the house, which has been founded in 1912. To show the 3 grape varieties we're using, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and Meunier. This little vineyard here is being run biodynamically.
So it's very difficult to create a biodynamic champagne.
Absolutely.
And there are not many champagne houses in the world which creates biodynamic.
Thank you very much to give me the opportunity to introduce you to our champagne house. It's called Comte de Dampierre. Our range is divided in 3 parts. And of course, our prestige cuvées. That's the champagne Audouin de Dampierre always said is only reserved to his family. These wines are all twined like it has been done in the 18th century.
I'm going to start with this because I always wanted to have Blanc de Noir. So may I?
Of course.
Bar is 200 square meter bar. Wow. It's all in pink, and what we're doing is the focus is on rosé and the focus is on vintage champagnes, something out of the world like this one. So we are getting something people have only read about it. Right. We are bringing it to the reality.
There's an old expression. Luxury is in each detail. At Le Bois, our promise is all about this. It's what our customers expect from us, and it's a promise that we constantly strive to surpass.
You have seen this, so we'll go to the next slide. I just realized I've taken a lot of your time. I don't have more than 15 minutes now. Yeah, actually 10 minutes more. So all these things are good. This is a very confidential slide. What we are doing is we are the only hotel in the world to have 2 champagne bars and 2 French restaurants. And then we said we should hire Deloitte to understand what is our quality of earning. Are we cannibalizing our business? And we hired Deloitte and they told us that we are not at all cannibalizing the business. And actually we are adding more money as we are opening. The revenue is increasing, so as our profitability. The next slide, please. This is 2020 and 2019. Now you see the difference in the losses and the profit they were making. And you see that most of the bigger hotel chain and the regional hotel chain in Thailand all suffered more losses than they made the profit during COVID. Because all these organizations go by rules. And look at Labua, how marginally we lost vis-a-vis the profit, because we are the organization that is run by the principal. Next slide, please. We will go to the next one, please. Okay, I don't think so. I have time. Do I have time, Anna? It's 7:51, so 6:30, 20. I've got only 9 minutes left. I wanted to give you 2 case studies. Maybe I'll keep it for the next class. So I will now let the student ask any questions, what they have, because I've taken a lot of time. So only 9 minutes are left. Please, so we can stop this presentation.
Well,
so
you cannot leave without telling us the story behind Hangover.
Okay. Oh, Hangover was, okay, that's a very good thing. Hangover was just a stroke of luck. Okay, I can make any story. I'm a good storyteller. You may have gathered that, but it was a stroke of luck. Normally, when the Hollywood comes, they hire a local company to do the production. The local company came to us and said they want to shoot. Normally at our place, we have the view, but we have done very good thing is we say that the celebration part is a memory. So we do not allow photographs to be taken. And if any shooting has to take place, has to be done after the working hours. And when the whole place is closed, our charges are $30,000 per hour for shooting. So these people came to us. Okay, and they said, we want to shoot. And actually, they came to Tourism Authority of Thailand to shoot Hangover Part 2, and TAT said no, because of the script of the movie. Then they came to us and said, our president from Warner Brothers wants that we should come and talk to Deepak, and we want to talk to you. This is the movie, this is the thing, how much money you need. There were 2 hotels in Thailand where the movie was shot. But people only know Labua. And you know why? We never took any money. We were the first hotel company in the world to sign a marketing alliance with Warner Brothers. I said, we won't charge you $30,000 per hour. Everything is free. You can shoot. But you have to do 3 things. First is a marketing alliance. They said, we can't give you worldwide. We can give you 3 countries. We said, yes. So we chose US, Australia, and India. So wherever they will put Hangover poster or promotion, Labua logo has to be there. Labua became famous. Second thing, all the movie was to be shot in the evening time at Labua. I said, evening time we can't give you. Change the script to the morning time. So if you notice, everything was shot in the morning time. And third, we said at the strategic places, we have to put Labua. That was my idea, to put on the stomach, meet me at Labua. So that was a marketing. So that is what we did. So I can make a story. I went to them. I convinced them. No, it came to us. They desperately wanted the location. So we could negotiate. Can that happen again? Maybe yes, maybe no, we don't. So that's the story of Hangover. But how we are able to use the name Hangover? So I can't tell you the exact story because some of this is confidential. I hope you understand. But I became very close to Todd Phillip. And he said he will introduce me to Bradley Cooper and the cast. I said, sure. But I met them. I hosted them for drinks. And while we were drinking 1, 2, 3, he said, why don't you make a special cocktail which has never been made? I made a special cocktail. And Todd Phillip said, get me a piece of paper. He gave us worldwide unlimited time use of Hangover Teeny. And the name Hangover Teeny is not us, it's Todd Phillips. That's the story. So now you can ask me any questions you want to ask. Actually, time flies. I didn't realize that we are almost at the end of 90 minutes. I hope you all will give me a chance to speak again. I have not disappointed any one of you, but you can ask me questions because we have still time left. We still have 5 minutes left. Any questions?
Come on, guys. Any questions? Now is the time to ask Deepak anything you want.
How did you, by the way, first of all, amazing presentation. I guess I speak for all of us here when I say I was able to take a lot from, what you showed us. But I would really want to know in which way would I say, how did you stop from being afraid of taking so many important decisions? Because as a CEO, you have a lot of responsibility.
So how did I start getting the time out to do so many presentations? Sorry, I didn't understand your question.
Sorry, I was saying, how did you stop being so afraid of taking so many important decisions as a CEO?
I think I go by principle. I'm never afraid. If you see my life, I was never even afraid to speak to all of you. So I think it's the courage. In a business, the most important thing is the courage.
Right.
And when I faced my seniors in the college, I still didn't lose the courage, though they laughed at me. I actually gained more courage to be here to speak to all of you today.
That's awesome.
Any other question anyone has?
Nancy, anybody from your class?
This is a big question, so I don't know. I don't know if we have time for it, but how has social media impacted the luxury business? What is the biggest challenge that you've seen?
I think social media is a very important tool. The most important tool than the product, then definition of luxury. But it has not been used rightly. There are few companies which has used social media correctly. Second, there are a lot of success stories, but that success stories has got to do with the demand and supply. In luxury brands, there's only one. Actually, I would say two companies that use social media very nicely. One is Hermes and other is Bottega. I have not seen any brands of LVMH using the social media in line with the credo, mission, and vision of their companies. Social media is the most delicate and a very intelligent tool to reach to the people. And I'm afraid to use social media because if I have my chance, Nancy, I would be sitting in your class and asking you a lot of questions that how we can use social media to actually move further. And maybe that should be a case study that how luxury goods should be using the social media.
We'll keep talking about that. I'd love to talk more about that.
So maybe another class.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. See, I'm so greedy. I want to come back to FIU again. Any other questions any one of you have?
I just want to say thank you so much. This was such an amazing presentation, and we really appreciate your time. And I think you are such a great storyteller, and it really gives the students hope to hear, where you came from to where you are today. And it's really such an amazing journey.
Thank you.
When is the book coming out?
So I'm, everything I do very differently. So you'll see the movie before the book. So the book will be released a week before the movie.
Perfect. I love it.
It's a Hollywood movie. I can tell you that much right now. But the book will be released a week before the movie. And it is, I would say, almost 12 months down the line.
Wonderful.
This October, you will see that the cast will be released and the production house will do the announcement.
That's truly fantastic. Okay, Alan, you have a question?
Yeah. What is your future vision for Le Bois, and do you see it going into becoming sort of like a global brand, globalized in different countries, different Le Bois, maybe like Le Bois 2 or other? Do you feel like you'll be branching into other countries?
Okay, so the two things. My future, what I'm focusing is has to be in a very. I've never been a person of longitude and latitude. That it has to be everywhere. So at the same time, it has to grow. We don't see more than 6 to 8 locations in the future, but those would be in a bigger scale and very exclusive, but not too many. You are based in Miami. I think there's one brand which I admire. It's called Fena Hotel. I don't know whether you have the chance to visit Fena in Miami. You should go and visit that and have a glass of champagne. And send me the bill. Have a glass of champagne at some other hotel also and tell me the difference in the experience.
Will do.
Any other questions you have? So then, Anna, thank you so much. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, everybody.